it's Hannah. Welcome back to the Corner of Craft podcast. I hope that you are all well. It's been way too long since I last saw you all, and I have way too little knitting to show you for all that time I've been away. I know. This episode of the Corner of Craft podcast is sponsored by Skillshare. Thanks, Skillshare. But I'll chat more about them in a little bit. How have you all been? You may notice that I'm in a different spot today than I usually am, and that is for a very good reason. I'm not going to hold it off too long. We have had a couple of very exciting additions to the Corner of Craft household. Yes. Apparently it's the Corner of Craft household. It's not mine and Mario's, it's just mine. We've got 2 kittens. Cut to the kittens. So here is one of the little angels. This is Kimchi. Please excuse the floor. I have swept up today, but you wouldn't be able to tell because that's not how cats work. But this is Kimchi. She is very cute. Showing you her backside. Thank you very much for that, sweet pea. And then our other little angel is in the basket. Let me see. Oop. There we go. This is Mizo. She is a little angel and is so cute, and I love them so much. Hi. Hello. Oh, booping the camera. I love them so much, and they're such cuties. And Cat Watch is going to get so much more exciting. Yes. Hello. Hi. But yes, Cat Watch is going to be much easier now because I actually have cats of my own, so there will always be a Cat Watch. But we have had them less than 2 weeks, so they're currently chilling in the kitchen, getting acclimatized. And we've opened up the conservatory for them as well. So they're just running up and down, running rampant, and having a great time. But we have not let them into the rest of the house yet. And usually I film this podcast in the kitchen. So I'm currently in the living room. I'm in denial about how much of my yarn I'm going to have to clear up before I let them loose. But if only we could shut our stairs off and then I could let them run around the bottom of the house. But no, they're just going to go everywhere, aren't they? So I can shut off my office space, so that's all right. I just need to make sure all my yarn is up there before I let them loose. The sun is changing quite a lot. I think clouds coming over. I dressed for slightly cooler weather than we're currently having, so I'm in jeans, so I'm very warm. Yes, if you are new, hello. I haven't introduced myself. I introduced my cats before myself. That is apparently who I am now. My name is Hannah. I am the owner of the Corner of Craft. I also, I make hand beaded stitch markers, which are incredibly cute, if I do say so myself, and sell them. And I also dye yarn in colours inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. This, under the name Chromatic Yarns, sorry, I'm out of practice. This is a knitting and crochet podcast, although there's not much crochet going on today. There's no crochet going on today, so it's all knitting. I've got a couple of finished objects to show you. I've got a couple of whips. It's all very exciting. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, links can all be found in the description box below, along with any other information that I think you might need, such as podcast notes. If you watch this and you miss something and you think, Hannah, you mumbled through that, I don't know what you said, check out the podcast notes. They'll be able to provide you with more information and tell you more things that you need to know. But before I dive into the nitty-gritty of it all, let's take a minute to chat about Skillshare. First off, I want to say a huge thank you to you all for, I'm guessing, clicking the link and making the most of your free trial to Skillshare. Because of you, Skillshare have come back to me for more fun. Thank you very much appreciated. But also, Skillshare, thanks so much for sponsoring this video. I appreciate it. I keep saying appreciate. Skillshare is a fantastic online learning community for those of us who are curious and creative. There are thousands of classes available, all the way from running a business, managing your time, to creative things such as painting and knitting, crochet and video editing, photography, all sorts. journaling, there's everything. There are classes set for every skill level, so whether you're a beginner and want to try something completely new, or you're a bit more advanced and want to learn something else, there are classes available for you, and you can filter them by difficulty, which makes it extra easy. There are so many knitting classes available to you, walking you through how to make your very first stitch, to how to make a cowl, a headband, a pair of socks. Or if you already know all of that and you've mastered it, then there are classes about cables, different types of cables, Fair Isle knitting, how to do it. It's very useful. Very easy. It's your one-stop shop basically for a knitting how-to. Of course, among other things, but this is a knitting podcast. One of the classes that I have very much enjoyed lately is by Chanel Hayes. It's called Content Calendars Made Easy, Save Time and Develop a Personal Brand. And in that class, she walks through, well, first of all, she provides a content calendar, which is very useful. It's a calendar where you can input when you want to post on social media. So as a business owner, that's a very useful thing because I'm a little too sporadic at it. I need to get a bit more refined, I think. Anyway, this class walks you through how to break down your brand, what kinds of things you want to share, how to stay on task, what to post and when, and basically prepares you for the month. She even provides the calendar for you to fill out and the key and everything and walks you through it. And it's so useful. So useful. As someone who thrives off positive feedback, there's an opportunity for you to do that with Skillshare classes as well. There are projects and discussion boards underneath the classes so you can chat with your fellow classmates as well as the leader of the class, and you can submit work and get feedback on it, which I think is amazing because you don't get that with a YouTube tutorial. You're just kind of left to your own devices. Another advantage is that classes aren't interrupted by ads because they are made specifically with learning in mind. It means that you won't get distracted or disrupted or forget what happened before the ad because it's just clean all the way through. There are always classes available and live workshops, and there's more and more popping up all the time. It's amazing. You're never going to run out of stuff to learn. Skillshare have been so generous to offer the first 1,000 of my subscribers who click the link in the description box below or in the top pinned comment a 1-month free trial to Skillshare. I know, usually it's not a month, but now at the moment it's a month, and that's running, I think, through to September. So, you know, you can get a good chunk of stuff learnt in a month. Click the link in the description box below to snag your spot. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this podcast, and let's get back to the video. So the tea of the day, this is in my Silver Spot Ceramics donut mug. I love it. And it's a Bird and Blend cream egg tea. I've been a bit off Bird and Blend, not by I don't like their tea anymore. Quite the contrary. Love it still. I've just had a sip. It was delightful. But more that I've just been drinking Yorkshire tea biscuit brew and haven't been getting through my tea stash in the slightest. So time to fix that. I'm fixing that. But yeah, it's one of their limited edition Easter teas. But I'm trying to make my way through my tea collection. Any background noise that you may hear are the cats. They're noisy little things, and they love playing with the broom, and I don't really understand why. Yeah, a bit more information about the cats because I realised I skimmed over it. We adopted them a couple of weeks ago and decided to name them after our favourite fermented foods. Sauerkraut wasn't quite so catchy, so we've gone with miso and kimchi. They are around 5 or 6 months old. We don't know for certain because they were found in a cardboard box on a tip, and have been dumped there with one other kitten, which is really sad. The third kitten was still too traumatized. We saw him when we collected these two, but yeah, they were very traumatized when they were first rescued, and the foster mum, I guess, carer, I don't know, did an absolutely fantastic job of assimilating them and whatnot. They hid from us for a couple of days, and we just kind of let them hide from us, and we lured them out with some dreamies, and then they realized, oh hey, these people feed us, they're not so bad, and now they're currently ruling the kitchen and the conservatory. So bless them. I love them. I love them so much. My Instagram has essentially become like an Instagram dedicated to my fermented feline friends. I don't even care. I love them. Anyway, I've wanted a cat for so long, and I'm so glad that I finally did it. I was really worried about getting a cat because the only other pet that we've had is Sophie, the geriatric goldfish, who we just kind of inherited from Maria's mum when they went and lived abroad for a few months. And she died shortly after we moved here. I think the move here was a little traumatizing for her. Also, she was 18. Hello? You okay, little bubs? They're fine. They're playing with a little pink mouse that my sister got for them. And they love to like slam it against the door. Cats. But yes, Sophie. So I was really worried about actually having cats. You know, fish stay in one place in a fish tank. Cats go everywhere. And I thought I'd lost Kimchi a couple of times, but no, she's just a void with eyes, so very easy to lose. Anyway, we've had a visit to the vet. They don't hate me, even though I took them to the vet walking in the rain, even because it's July, and even though, well, it was July, even though it was July, it was chucking it down with rain. I had to walk the cats to the vet. Yeah, fun times. Anyway, that's enough about the cats. Shall we get into a couple of finished objects? Well, one finished object and one very almost finished object. Because I know different people have different definitions of what a finished object is. This chair is very squeaky. I'm just going to get it out there. Also, whenever I post a video of me sitting in this chair, my sister always tells me that I look like Roddy Corbett in The Big Chair. So, good luck getting that out of your mind. So the first thing that I have... Oh, first off, I finished... Excuse me. I finished off my Vampiric Touch socks. That were like blueberry waffle socks. But, oh, ow. But I've gifted them to my friend and she loves them and they fit, which is fantastic. So I cannot show you them, sorry. But they were squishy and delightful. I have, also finished my everyday slouchy beanie, which is in this gorgeous grey shade. I used Rowan Kid Silk Haze and a yarn that I'm not going to talk about, and because I bought the yarn and then the producer of the yarn, or the person associated with the yarn, isn't the best of people, but I still wanted to use the yarn because otherwise that's a waste of money and I'd already bought it, but I don't want to send any business their way. But yeah, Everyday Slouchy Beanie by Tristan Molina. It is a 4-ply yarn held together with a mohair silk lace weight yarn for extra warmth, and the 4-ply yarn actually has possum in it as well, which is very cozy, very cozy. And yeah, it's just a basic grey hat for when I'm in a basic grey hat mood. So I feel like it's going to get a lot of wear once the colder months come along. We're in August. Why am I wearing a hat? But you know what? I really like this hat. I think it actually looks pretty good. Yeah, this is going to get worn a lot, especially with my... Oh God, I'm desperate for a haircut. But yeah. Thanks, Tristan. Another great pattern. Mate, she's smashing it with these patterns. Oh, her Sanderson sister sweater. Delightful. Only flaw is I've bought 3 sweater quantities of yarn in the past 2 months, I think. One hasn't arrived, one I'm going to show you, and one was I showed you in the last podcast. And none of them are DK weight sweater quantities, and this jumper is I believe DK weight held with mohair. So what a shame. I'm either going to have to dye some, I'm going to have to dye some up, aren't I? Yeah. But I really need to get through some of my stash. I'll chat about that. I'll chat. We have time. But yeah, my Everyday Slouchy Beanie. It's going to be very comfortable. Seems to fit me better than the other Everyday Slouchy Beanie that I have, which is good, because the other one I have was way too tight on my head, and still is. And I know there's meant to be, you know, a bit of negative ease, because otherwise it's going to just fall off all the time. But there's a bit of negative ease and then there's a bit of negative ease, you know. It was a little too snug on my head. So I think the tweed yarn that I was using before is thinner than this yarn. In fact, I know it is. So that yarn is much tighter than this, or that hat is much tighter than this one. But because I've got a big old head, because I'm a relatively tall person with quite a large bone structure, you know, wide rib cage and all of that jazz, quite broad shoulder. I'm not petite, and my big head goes with it. So the other almost finished object I have, by the time you see this, will have been gifted to its recipient. So I have had a fair few friends have babies recently because I am 30, almost 31. I'm 31 next month, which, where has this year gone? I still feel like I'm in my 20s. Groundhog Day, no. But I have a friend who had a baby in December. We have not met said baby. I had knit a jumper for her, which I think is maybe might be 6 to 12 months. I don't know. But my track record of baby jumpers is they're always too small. I've knit a couple of baby jumpers for one of my friend's babies, and he is a large baby, but every jumper I've knit him, that stripy blue and grey one that I knit him, too small. So it fit like a muscle tee, I was told. So that's annoying, but that's lessons have been learnt. Just knit way bigger. So I'm thinking the jumper that I've knit, it's probably wouldn't fit for long if it did fit. And you're not going to really want a jumper in August, are you? So that's fine. There's another baby that jumper is going to be going to, the pink one that I knit. But apparently we're seeing this baby on Wednesday, which for me is tomorrow, for you was a couple of days ago. And I found this out on Sunday. So I thought, well, I need to knit another jumper for a baby. So I did what any sane person would do. I knit a really chunky jumper, and it took me, I finished it last night at about 10 o'clock. And I didn't knit it all day yesterday. And I started it Sunday afternoon because Mario was working Sunday morning. So I started it maybe 4 o'clock Sunday and finished it last night, which is amazing. So this jumper is the Larkin knit. It's a pattern by Park Williams. It's a small child version of the Staple, S-T-A-Y space P-U-L-L jumper, which is an adult size jumper. It is a chunky weight jumper, bulky weight jumper, and I knit mine using 4 strands of sock yarn, 4-ply, held together. So in this we have 2 strands of undyed on my merino sock base, which is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, super soft. But we also have a strand of the Claire Nettleship. I want to say Unicorn Kisses. I was knitting a Le Meilleur shawl, brioche shawl, out of that and a grey, and then unpicked it, and then I thought, would I wear that? So I've gone for putting it in this jumper, and also a skein of Rusty Ferret's Tits Out Collective colourway that I started knitting into a jumper, which then it didn't fade well, so it's just been sat in stash, so I decided to add it in as like a grey colour with all sorts of beautiful speckles in it. And I hadn't realised the inappropriate name for a baby jumper, as in the yarn is an appropriate name for a baby jumper, until I was already knitting with it. And also, they don't need to know what the name of the colourway was. They don't care. So yeah, this is to fit a 1 to 2 year old, and the baby's currently 6 months old-ish. Just over. December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 8 months old, blimey. Okay, I feel less bad. But yeah, it's a little big, it's quite heavy. It's probably about 300 grams, I don't know. But it's really cute, and it knits up so quickly. It's so cute, but yeah. This is the almost finished object because I need to block it and weave the ends in. I'm hoping the sun sticks around because otherwise this is not going to get dry in time. get the hairdryer on it, I suppose. I'm going to put it out in the garden. But I didn't want to block it and then not be able to show it on the podcast. So it's currently 5 to 11. I'm running out of time. But yeah, it's really cute and so squishy and has made me want to knit a jumper like this for myself. I have so many single skeins up there that are colour coordinated, but I don't think I want to use them in a shawl or anything. I don't know. So I am thinking of doing like a stash buster jumper and just holding 4 strands together, switching out colours every now and then, and knit myself one of these in a big size, because that'll be really cute. I think it'll be really nice, and I feel like I'd wear it a lot. Maybe have like a consistent colour running through it. So I've got 3 skeins up there of like a dark grey colour that I could use as like the consistent through it. But I don't know. I just really, it's so squishy. I feel like it would be so warm and snuggly, and it would just be like the jumper where you look out the window, you're like, ugh, it's raining again, or ugh, it's snowing. Massive jumper time. Hallmark film. I'm thinking of Christmas already, but yeah. This is the Larkin knit by Park Williams, and yeah, such a speedy knit. I edited it, modified it very slightly in that it's meant to be a doubled over collar. I did not double it over, and I've just knit it straight because, yeah, I just did. Just a nice stretchy cast off of the sleeves and the collar and the bottom, so the sleeves can be rolled up if they need to be, because, you know, the wee bub is only small. I mean, I don't think she's going to be wearing it anytime soon. It's an incredibly thick jumper, but I love the little random pops of colour that you get from the Tits Out Collective yarn. Like, here, and every so often, yeah, it's not through the whole thing. It's not obnoxiously, hey, this is for a baby girl. It's not obnoxiously anything. It's just, I really like this jumper. Anyway, a bit sad I'm giving it away, but that's fine. Hopefully I'll get to see her in it, because I think it's going to fit her for quite a while. Ooh, I've managed to knit some of my hair into it. Oops. Oh no. Okay, quick sip of tea. So now we are moving on to whips, or works in progress, and living in my The Little Grey Girl sushi bag that I showed off on my last podcast. I instantly put it to use. Yes, I am knitting the Lotus Star. I don't know if it's just called Lotus Star sweater. Let's have a look, shall we? Just called Lotus Star, and this is by Kirsten Rovetta, I believe is how it's said. And yes, it is such a cool jumper. Where's the back? Where's the back? That's the back. That's the front. This is the back. These are the sleeves. Yeah. I'm quite a chunk through it. I haven't picked it up in a little bit. I mean, I knit it a bit this morning, but it'd been abandoned. We'd had some very hot weather in this country, and I'd just not knit anything, and I'd just been scrolling mindlessly on my phone, which is ridiculous. But yes, the Lotus Star. I am knitting this out of Chromatic Yarns Sturdy DK, which is 100% Superwash Blueface Leicester, in the Potion of Healing colourway, which is just a really nice, slightly muted red, which is coming up way more orange on camera than it is. It is in episode 30, issue 37 of Pom Pom, which I believe is the latest one, the summer 2021 issue. And they knit theirs in a beautiful golden yellow. And yes, Selena of Through the Wardrobe Bianco and I are kind of hosting an informal cal, although I think we've both kind of fallen off of knitting it. Oops. Called the Lotus Star Along, just on Instagram. Just post your pictures and hashtag Lotus Star Along. I don't think there are any prizes. It's just for a bit of fun and community whilst we knit. Yeah, so I've got my sleeves on hold and my little Yarnistry stitch markers keeping me on track. Why do I have three on this side and 2 on this side? Well, that's going to be fun. We will work that out. But yes, so I'm currently just knitting round and round and round around the body. I am alternating skeins using the helical knitting method. I have used Grace of Babel's Travelling Yarns. She has a great tutorial on YouTube. And yeah, I didn't do helical knitting when knitting this top lace section because that would be quite difficult to do because you're doing yarn over and also blah. So I kind of started it. I can probably look and see exactly where I started it. I started it on the back at when I started having this larger gap along here, because by the time I got whichever way I was going to here-ish, it was fine because I was already done with it. So it just gradually introduced the new skein, so it wouldn't be a huge shock when I finished one and started another, because when you're using hand-dyed yarn, we are not the most consistent at, I mean, some people are like blimmin' machines. But when using my yarn, I'm not the most consistent. I do my best of yarn coverage, but I'm not a machine. So I can't always get it bang on. So it's always good to alternate skeins and make sure that you're getting like a good median of colour. Ta-da! I have a little beaded banana on here to keep me company. I've got my teacup on here that my friend Anna made for me because I love tea, in case you hadn't noticed. And yeah, it's going really well. I really enjoy this pattern. I said that I posted on Instagram that I was knitting it, and I'd said that I wish that I'd had a chart for the lace. And then the designer, Kirsten, reached out to me and said, hey, I have a chart if you want it. So she sent me a chart. So if you want a chart, I will link Kirsten's Instagram in the podcast notes, and please politely ask her. I know you will, but you know, some people have interesting views of politeness. If she could provide you with a chart, or yeah, if you think that will help you out, because otherwise it's very confusing sometimes. But I've gone through and I've marked what size I'm knitting, which is very useful because sometimes I forget things if I'm just looking on my phone, which is where I usually read my patterns from. And if I've put my knitting down for a while, I don't know what size I'm knitting. I have to work it out, blah, blah. But because this is in the magazine, I have marked it with a pencil. I am knitting the 4th size. Yeah, so I have a little bit of positive ease, and it'll just be nice because this will obviously block out because it's lace, and it's always blocks out much nicer. But yeah, the Lodestar, I love it. I'm really enjoying knitting it. I'd lost my knitting mojo for a little bit, hence the no podcasting. I'd lost my knitting mojo, and ever since finishing this little thing in record time, it's come back. So now I know that when my knitting mojo goes, knit a baby jumper and then it'll come back. Just quick knit baby jumper, it'll come back. So the final thing that I am currently knitting are some socks, of course. We went down to see my parents a few weeks ago now, and I needed something to knit on the drive down, and then I haven't really touched it since, but looking at these colours makes me want to knit them again. Hey, I should have podcasted way sooner. I'd have way more knitting done. So this is by Stripy Cat Yarns, and the yarn is by Stripy Cat Yarns, and it is in her Milky Way colourway, and it's beautiful. We did a little swap where I made a couple of stitch markers inspired by, I guess, of her cats, which were so cute, and I need to do some stitch markers of my 2 terrors now. I've got them. But yeah, we did a little swap, and she gave me a sock set, which is super cute, so thank you. What's happening here? Ta-da! This is on her BFL base, because I love a BFL for a sock, which is 75% superwash BFL, Blueface Leicester, and 25% nylon, and it comes with a little purple mini. And yeah, they're super cute. I'm doing 64 stitches on 2.25mm needles, and I will be doing an Afterthought heel, the one where you cut it in, Kirby Werby's Afterthought heel. But yeah, oh, these are so pretty. Okay, now I just want to knit these more. My needles of choice are higher sharps. I don't tend to talk about that much. But yeah, my needles of choice are higher sharps, and I love them. My mum can't get on with them because they're a little too sharp for her. They don't work for how she knits. She punctures holes in her fingers. But for how I knit, they work perfectly, and I love them. And I don't find they split the yarn unless the yarn itself is a splitty yarn, which doesn't sound like it makes sense, but kind of does. But yeah, so I always use higher sharps. So if you're ever wondering what needles I'm using, they're always higher sharps, because that's the needle that I own. Because when I first got back into the knitting scene, okay, so I've never really been into the knitting scene growing up. I was taught to knit when I was 8, and then I moved on to crochet, and then I've been dabbled in knitting here and there, and then I moved to Germany in 2015, probably almost 6 years to the day, truth be told, and there was all this gorgeous sock yarn, and so I was just like, I really want to knit. And then I started going to a knitting group, and I met Becky, who is Soprano Knits, and Becky Sorensen, and she's on holiday at the moment, and I'm so jealous. But she introduced me to the online knitting community, and she used higher sharps. So I was like, these must be the needles I should use. So I use them. So it's Becky's fault that I use higher sharps, and yes, I just needed to, I don't know why I needed to share that with you, but I'm sure some of you already know that. I've been on the internet for a really long time at this point. I know. But yes, Milky Way by Stripy Cat Yarns. I love a self-striping yarn, and it's never anything I will dye myself, because it's not, let's be honest, it's not. So it's always something that I allow myself to buy from others, which is stupid because now I've bought 3 sweater quantities of yarn, so I should be knitting with my own yarn, but I'm not having a shop update in a while, so it's fine. We'll chat shop in a second. So now we're moving on to stash acquisitions. I bought some yarn. This is one of the sweater quantities I bought. So Selena of Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. ages ago posted up her new colour, which is called Candy Unicorns. Dreamy of Candy Unicorns, sorry Selena. And it kind of exploded a little bit. It made the shop explode, and she did a pre-order, and she had like 120 skeins or something that she had to dye up for shop. I don't know the ins and outs, but she had to dye a lot of this yarn, and I was like, you know, it's really pretty, but I don't need it. I've got so much yarn in my stash, I don't need it. I won't hop on the pre-order, blah, blah, blah. Fine. The pre-order came and went, and I was like, okay, cool. That's gone. Deep regrets. And then then we were chatting, blah, 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 because we are friends. And a couple of weeks later, I happened to let slip that I had deep regrets of not getting Dream of Candy Unicorns. And if she was going to be opening up pre-orders again, it would be lovely if she let me know, because Instagram doesn't always show you things, because I'd love to hop on that. And she said, well, funny you should say that. So I pre-ordered some Dreamy of Candy Unicorns, because I just think that this would be the nicest jumper if I held it with some undyed mohair, and it would just be cream and fluffy with little pastel pops of colour, because Selena is the queen of pastels. Yeah, I love it. This is on her superwash merino base, which is 100% superwash merino wool, and it's so soft. And she is Through the Wardrobe Yarn, throughthewardrobeyarn.com. Let's see if I can get this to focus on the thing. And there's such delicate pastels on this. Oh, it's almost like a pastel rainbow, and they're so beautiful. She is a Norwegian-based dyer, so you might get hit with customs. but worth it because they're gorgeous. They're so beautiful. So thank you, Selena, for making an exception. And I'm very sorry if you get people in your inbox asking for more of this yarn, or if you do, just open up some more pre-orders, Selena. Come on. It's beautiful. Everyone needs a jumper in this, because then we can all match. And then if we meet at a yarn show, we'll all be matching. Although I do now have flashbacks to 2019 EYF Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and people who were wearing mohair jumpers regretted their life choice of wearing mohair to a yarn show. It was very warm. It was warm. I just went for a shawl, and one of my knitting is metal t-shirts probably, or this one. I don't know. I went for a shawl because you can take that off. But yeah. And those are my acquisitions. And that is all she wrote. So what have I been up to? So a brief bit of shop talk. Thank you everyone who has bought the Yarn and Stitch Marker 12 Days of Stitchmas calendar. Very much appreciated. As of time of speaking, there is one left in the shop, but I don't know how much longer that will be there for. But yeah, I think I completely messed up the launch and it wasn't in any section on the website, so no one could blimmin' find it. That was my bad. I fixed it after about 10 minutes because I didn't know. Yeah, yarn clubs are still happening on the 1st of the month, and they'll be going out to you at the end of next week, because I will be dyeing up the yarn clubs on Saturday, tomorrow for you, and hopefully would have started the Stitch Marker clubs by then. Fantastic. I will be giving more information about the Christmas Eve cast on bundle box shortly. I've worked out a rough pricing. It's going to be around £65, 60 to £65. I need to actually sit down and finalise it. That's on me. And yeah, so that's very exciting. In that you will receive a skein, a 100 gram skein of sturdy sock with a 20 gram mini skein. You will receive a project bag made by the Little Blue Robin, and it's really cute. We went fabric shopping and it's going to be a really cute bag. You'll see pictures soon, hopefully. You will also receive a hand beaded stitch marker by me, which won't have been in the shop before and possibly won't be again. And you will also receive a sock pattern by the lovely cat who is Heather and Hops on Instagram, and she is designing a beautiful sock pattern called Winter's Crest. And yeah, I'm excited. Oh, and some tea, of course. You always need a cup of tea. And so we'll all be sat down together using all our accoutrements, knitting our Christmas Eve cast on at around the same time. I love it. I love it. I am going to have 50 available of everything, and if they all sell, who knows, if they all sell, then I might open up some of just the yarn and the pattern, but we shall see. But I will have more discussion about when that's going live and actual pricing, what's actually in it, and all of that. That will be coming up very soon because I need to sit down and write it all down and work it all out. And yes, so keep an eye out for that. I will make a video about it, and so you can watch it. But that will probably be released end of the month, maybe early September time. And then that will be shipped out in the end of October. Oh God. You know what time is sneaking up? Very quickly. Where is time going? Anyway, that's shop talk. I don't have a shop update coming for a while because I'm currently procrastinating dyeing advent calendars. I have 8 days dyed. By the end of August, I want to have 20 days dyed. So I've got 12 days to dye up, which is fine, should be fine. Other than the fact I have lost the conservatory to the cats, and that is where I dry all my yarn, so Don't know how I'm going to get over that, but that's fine. We will work out somewhere to dry the yarn. Yeah, I've had a chat to a builder about starting work on the dye shed, which is very exciting. I just need to call him and discuss when we're going to go buy all the materials and stuff, and then he can get started on it, really, which is very cool. It would be cool to finally be able to get going in there. But yeah, that is what's happening in the corner of craft at the minute. Okay, I won't lie to you. I've been feeling quite burnt out by my business lately. And I don't know if it's by my business or if it's by life. But I've been so burnt out lately. I have found that I have wasted so many hours just mindlessly scrolling on my phone. Or I don't even know what I've been spending my time doing. But I don't know why. I work to deadlines really, really well. I procrastinate like Billy-O and then work really hard up to a deadline. And the problem with advent calendars for me and how I kind of run my business is that the advent calendar deadline is really far in the future. So if I started selling my advent calendars in April and they're not getting shipped till October, that's a really long timeline. And in my head, it's like, it's fine, I've got plenty of time. And it is fine, I do have plenty of time. But do I want to be rushing at the end of September, twisting up skeins for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours? No, I don't. I want it nice and leisurely like it was last year. And I don't know what the difference is. I mean, I've got 30 more advent calendars, so that might have something to do with it. But I don't know what the difference is, and it's really frustrating. And the other thing is, like I mentioned in the ad read for Skillshare, I thrive off feedback. And as a small business owner, you don't get a whole lot of feedback unless you're sharing stuff that you've made, stuff that you've dyed, stuff that you're knitting. Shop updates for me is a form of feedback, because if stuff sells well, then I know that I'm running my business well. Blah, blah, blah. But I'm not having shop updates at the moment because I need to focus on doing advents and stuff, and also trying to balance what my income is for tax brackets. Anyway, and yeah, so I'm not having that feedback of a regular shop update that I was having before, other than clubs, which thank you so much. And I can't share with you anything that I'm dyeing or making because it's all for an advent calendar and it's all a surprise. So I'm currently making the 5th batch of stitch markers for the 12 days of Stitchmas. And I've got 11 more to make of this one, and I've got 1 more left. And I can't show you any of them, so I don't get that feedback that I usually kind of work for. And I know that I should be complacent in myself and I shouldn't do things for other people, for other people's approval or feedback and blah, blah, blah. But that's how my brain works. I love hearing feedback from people. I love being patted on the head and being told I'm doing a really good job. I'm a 31-year-old woman. I feel like I should be over it. But therefore I really struggle because I can't show you anything that I'm making or doing other than knitting. So 1, I'm struggling with content because I can't share it with you. And 2, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of made me stall in my business a little bit. So I need to get back to like doing vlogs more. I need to get back to sharing things I'm knitting more on Instagram. I need to share the cats more on Instagram because I love them. And I don't know, I just need to like give myself a kick up the backside. And the sooner I get all these advents and stuff done, the sooner I can start to feel on top of my business again, because at the moment I am struggling slightly. Because as soon as all this yarn is gone, then I can start thinking about Christmas, because let's be honest, Halloween is not happening for me this year. Oh, I've just said that out loud. Oh, I hadn't thought about that, but I haven't thought about it, so it's not happening for me this year. I had a really good idea during Vlogmas last year for Christmas yarns for me, and I think I might try and actually do them this year. So I think it'll be cool. We're thinking Christmas Carol D&D puns. Yes. I'm excited. But, yeah. Wow. That was a lot. I just said quite a lot. And, yeah. I'd started writing a blog post about this, and then Mario came home, so then I stopped writing the blog post. But maybe I'll finish up that blog post, because maybe I have some processing to do. Anyway, Mario is very well. He's still working very hard. We've also moved into personal life now. We have some exciting things on the horizon for him mainly, but by extension also me, but mainly for him. Very exciting. And I look forward to when I can actually share more about that with you, but stuff needs to be confirmed. Plus, it's not really my news to share, but as and when stuff gets confirmed, I'll be able to share stuff with you. Yeah, the cats, delightful. I love them. You haven't really worried about how they're doing because you didn't know, you may not have known they existed before this podcast. They're very annoying at just after they've eaten breakfast and just after they've eaten dinner and a little bit in the middle of the day, because they get the zoomies and then they're just like running around, chasing each other and beating each other up. And I'm just like, will you just chill out and try to unwind? It's 5 a.m. for God's sake. I mean, they don't eat breakfast at 5 a.m, but sometimes they get the zoomies at 5 a.m. They just get the zoomies. They're kittens. They're going to. Other than that, what else is coming up this month? Not a whole lot, actually. Going out for dinner on Thursday, which was yesterday for you, but is a couple of days' time, which is very exciting. Oh, I've started working out with a personal trainer. I've started eating better again. I restarted Couch to 5K. I'm currently about to start week 5 tomorrow, which will be fun because my legs are killing me because I did kettlebells yesterday. So my shoulders hurt and my arms hurt and my legs hurt. But yeah, I started working out with a personal trainer, which is really fun. I do that twice a week, and then I'm running 3 times a week, and I'm also going to a dance workout once a week. You are not going to recognise me by a couple of months' time. I mean, you will. I'm going to look exactly the same. But yeah, I just thought, why not? Start exercising better. Because there's only so much cardio you can do, and I wanted to start doing more resistance training, but I didn't know how to do resistance training. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. I started Monday last week, so with the personal trainer, and yeah, it's intense, but I'm really enjoying it, which is good. But yes, I hope that you're all well. Let me know down below what you have been up to since I last saw you, whether that was on the last vlog or the last podcast or whenever. Let me know. What have you been working on? What have you been knitting? Have you recently finished anything? Have you recently acquired any more yarn? Have you been on a yarn buying kick? Because I very much have been. And yeah, let's chat. I've missed you a lot, so it would be lovely if we were to have a little chinwag in the comments. If you would like to follow me on social media, links as always can be found in the description box below, as well as a link to Skillshare, so you can snag your spot and get a month free of Skillshare. Yes. Yeah, also pinned in the top comment. All podcast notes can be found as well, linked down there. Nothing links to Ravelry. Yeah. Nope. And like the video if you like it, and feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you join the party that is the Corner of Craft. I have some good videos planned, so hopefully this is me coming back with a vengeance. Ta-da! Who knows? Something's got to give, something's got to shift. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I very much enjoyed spending this time with you, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!